The Dragon Balls are the most important artifact in all of Dragon Ball lore. Well, obviously, it's in the name. 7 orbs which, when gathered together, summon a dragon who will grant you any one wish you desire. The origin and types of Dragon Balls has changed and evolved through the story, with more and more sets and variations being discovered. Originally, we were led to believe that the 7 Dragon Balls on Earth were unique. 7 orange orbs with stars inside, which look the same at any angle. They also emit a weak radio signal, which is how the various Dragon radars can find them. According to series creator Akira Toriyama, the Dragon Balls feel like hard, natural resin, and they're not indestructible, as we've seen characters drill holes through them, but after every wish, they're restored back to normal. Once they're used, they scatter across the world and turn to stone for a whole year. Though some characters like Kami or Neva have been shown to have the ability to restore the Dragon Balls earlier if needed. The Earth Dragon Balls were created on age 470. If you didn't know, Dragon Ball has its own calendar system, so for reference, Goku meets Bulma on age 749. They were created by Kami, the god of Earth, after he split between himself and King Piccolo. He did it almost instinctively, since his race, the Namekians, have a long history and link to the wish-granting orbs. His Dragon Balls require a simple summoning incantation to use, usually something like, "Come forth, Shenron, and grant my wish," though it looks like any real variation of this works. They bring forth Shenron, meaning the Dragon God, a large green creature with red eyes and brown horns. He's the first dragon we see in the series, and the one most commonly used. The model of Shenron was created by Mr. Popo, and given life by Kami. The dragon's life is also linked to its creator, something we see it shares with many of the other dragons. The dragons also seem to share some personality traits with their makers, such as Shenron being quiet, stern, and cold, just like Kami, and he becomes a little warmer and goofier once Dende recreates him. Although he's called the Eternal Dragon, that doesn't mean he's immortal. We've actually seen King Piccolo kill him after getting his wish for eternal youth granted, which in turn also destroyed the statue at the lookout. But once King Piccolo was defeated, Kami was able to restore them and Popo fixed the statue. Shenron's power is immense, but that doesn't mean he can do everything. He can't grant wishes that greatly exceed the power of his creator. Like, he couldn't just kill the Saiyans coming to Earth because Kami was so much weaker than them, nor could he turn the androids into humans. Other restrictions include not being able to revive someone more than once, nor someone who died of natural causes. I mentioned earlier that Kami was its original creator, but once he fused with Piccolo and disappeared, so did the Dragon Balls. But Goku had an idea on how to fix this, going to Namek and getting the young Dende to become the new Guardian of Earth and re-establishing the Dragon Balls. Along with a new master came a new set of powers. Now Shenron can grant up to 3 wishes, though wishes that take too much power can mean one less wish. And in the new Dragon Ball Daima series, it seems like those 2 extra wishes are actually bonuses for frequent summoners. This explains why Shilai in Dragon Ball Super Broly only got 1 wish, while in Resurrection F more than 1 wish was granted, which may seem weird since it was the Frieza Force that used them. But I do want to mention that the Pilaf gang was there, and they were the ones that summoned him. They've actually summoned the dragon a few times at that point, once in the original Dragon Ball and once off screen, when they wished to be kids again. Anyways, this is actually a little weird since in the Buu arc we see Goku dismiss Shenron before using up all 3 wishes, making the time the Dragon Balls are turned to stone much shorter. So if Shenron chooses who gets 3 wishes, shouldn't they also be stone for less time? Or does he just count that 1 wish as a full set? That's a newer rule, so we don't know too much about it just yet. Anyways, he was upgraded once again by Dende in Dragon Ball Super Superhero to make him even more powerful, being able to unlock Piccolo's potential. And we can even see Shenron being a tad sentimental when he gives Piccolo an extra power-up as acknowledgement for their old relationship as creator and creation. The first wish we're ever told about was for its user to become king, though that was 100 years ago. The first proper wish we see is Oolong asking for panties to stop Pilaf from taking over the world, while the most recent one was in Dragon Ball Daima, where Goma wished for the Z-Fighters to be turned to children. It's also worth noting that in Japanese, each of the Dragon Balls has a Chinese name. We don't really get this in the dub, but in the English manga, for example, you'll see Bulma calling the 5-star Dragon Ball Su Shinchu. In Dragon Ball Online, an MMO which was supervised by Akira Toriyama himself, it was stated that Dende deactivated the Dragon Balls on age 787, at the request of the old Kai, since he saw them as nothing but trouble. However, Dende reactivated them on age 999, when Mira and Towa began attacking the different timelines. He did this to try and encourage new heroes to rise up and seek them out, just like Goku and his friends did long ago. In this story, afraid Dende is a little desperate, so he actually makes a whole bunch of different Dragon Ball sets with limited power, so many more champions had a chance to find them. This is actually how you get Super Saiyan in the game. There's also some weirder variations, like in Attack of the Saiyans, Mr. Popo can create his own weaker set in Kami's absence. Let's move on to our second set. During the Frieza arc, we're introduced to the Namekian Dragon Balls. They are much larger than the ones on Earth, originally created by the Grand Elder of Namek. One was given to different villages through Namek to protect. Their original intention was to be given as rewards to champions who were brave enough to seek them out, through something like a series of tests. But we've never actually seen this happen, since their first introduction was in the middle of a massacre by Frieza. These Dragon Balls summon Porunga, the word for Dragon of Dreams in Namekian. He must be summoned in Namekian with a specific phrase, Takaraput. Pop Porunga, Pupirito Paro. The wish themselves must also be made in Namekian, but the dragon speaks the basic language of Dragon Ball. Porunga is a lot larger than Shenron, and absolutely jacked. He's also nicer though, much like how the Grand Elder of Namek was warmer than Kami. In the anime, he even jokes about when Gohan and Krillin can't decide on a wish, saying,
"Just wish for nothing 3 times so I can go."
His signature pose is doing the OK sign when granting a wish. He's also more powerful than the first set of Earth Dragon Balls, being able to grant 3 wishes instead of just 1. Though at first, when it came to reviving people, he could only revive 1 person at a time, unlike Shenron who could revive people as a group. These Dragon Balls also turned to stone, but for 1 Namekian year, aka 130 Earthling days. When the Grand Elder died after Namek's destruction, he transferred his power over to Murray, making him the new Grand Elder, and linking him to the Dragon Balls. Murray would go on to upgrade the Dragon Balls sometime before the Buu arc, making it so they could revive multiple people at once. The first 3 wishes we see them grant is to revive Piccolo, bring him to Namek, and later, after a short period of being stone, they brought everyone from Namek except for Goku and Frieza back to Earth. And just like Shenron, he does do nice things every now and then, like when he reconstructed Krillin's body as a bonus when they revived him. Fun fact, in the Dragon Ball Super manga, we actually see Goku wishing for King Kai's restored planet, though Porunga only grants 1 wish there for some reason. There is also another set of Namekian Dragon Balls on Universe 6. In fact, Champa explained in Dragon Ball Super that their Namekian Dragon Balls were created by taking small pieces of the Super Dragon Balls, which is likely what the Universe 7 Namekians did as well. Speaking of which, we were told in Z that the Namekian Dragon Balls were the original set, but a lot more information has come out since then. In Dragon Ball Super, we are introduced to the Super Dragon Balls, the real original set. They are 7 massive planet-sized orbs, which are divided between Universe 6 and Universe 7. Their diameter is exactly
37,196.2204 kilometers.
According to Zuno, they were created by a being named Zalama, the Dragon God. He created them on year 41 of the Divine Calendar, and the next year, he patented the way in which the stars look the same no matter which angle you look at them from. These Dragon Balls, just like the other 2, can be found with a radar, though Bulma had to create a brand new one to locate them. The dragon that's summoned is just known as Super Shenron. He has a look that resembles more of a European dragon, more so than Shenron's Chinese-inspired design, with a golden color and huge wings. He is by far the largest dragon, eclipsing whole galaxies, but it looks like he can change size depending on where he's summoned, like the Tournament of Power arena. The first time he is summoned, the Universe 7 team appears within Super Shenron, talking to his inner core. To summon him, just like with the other dragons, an incantation must be chanted. This time it's, "Come forth, Dragon of the Gods, and grant my wish, pretty peas," in the language of the gods, which in reality is just talking backwards. Super Shenron is the strongest of all the dragons, with no real limit as to what wish he can grant. Whis mentions that he can kill gods or destroy universes. We've also seen these Dragon Balls be destroyed by Goku Black and Zamasu. The first wish on Super Shenron we saw was Beerus asking for a restored planet Earth for Universe 6, when Monaka won the Tournament of Destroyers, and the most recent one was by Android 17, who wished to restore all the universes destroyed during the Tournament of Power. I also want to mention something interesting that's only ever been seen in Dragon Ball Legends: the Omnificent Crystal, a prototype of the Super Dragon Balls. It's just one single ball, and instead of having the stars inside, it contains 2 small orbs, a red one and a white one, which move around in a circle. The crystal was completely useless at first, until the evil Zaha placed the 2 orbs inside Charlotte and Giblet, twin Saiyans brought forward in time. The orbs were supercharged when the twins battled as Super Saiyan gods, giving life to the crystal. Its power is enormous, so much so that it could nullify the effects of Beerus' Hakai. It has also been used in battle to seal enemies and as a shield, though it does need to recharge, using up energy generated through fights. One of the most impressive things it ever did was rewrite the memories of everyone in the universe to make them think that Charlotte was a villain. Boruto much? There's still a lot of mysteries around it, but I thought it was worth mentioning. This next bit is gonna have some spoilers for the Dragon Ball Super manga, so if you haven't read it yet and don't wanna know, then skip to the time on screen and I'll meet you there. So anyways, back to the main series. During the Granola arc of the Dragon Ball Super manga, we were introduced to the Cerulean Dragon Ball set. They were created by an elder Namekian, who passed them down onto Monaito when he died at the hands of the Frieza Force. They are really small compared to any other set, and there's not 7 of them, just 2. They also don't have a period where they're turned into stone, so you can use them right away, but because they're so small, they're also a little harder to find. They summon the dragon Torombo, a blue dragon which looks smaller than the others, and resembles something like an axolotl. The main thing this set is used for is making Granola and Gas the strongest in the universe. However, unlike the other sets, they can grant really powerful wishes, but at a cost. In the case of Gas and Granola, becoming so strong cost them a significant portion of their life, 150 years for Granola, and nearly the entirety of Gas's life by the time he was killed by Frieza. The only other wish we know of was Bardock's wish to have his children thrive, though this is done off-screen and a good portion of the fandom believes that the wish wasn't actually made. Monaito also tried to wish for Bardock to escape, but the Saiyan refused, since he wanted to finish the fight against Gas. This is similar to when Porunga couldn't bring Goku to Earth when he refused to because he was training on Yardrat. In the present, the 1-star Dragon Ball was kept by Monaito, while the 2-star ball was completely lost, until a Sugurian kid found it, causing the Sugarians to research it only for Granola to steal it. In the end, after the defeat of Gas and Elec, Monaito decided to deactivate these Dragon Balls. I also wanted to mention this interview from 2021, where Toyotaro, the writer of the Dragon Ball Super manga, revealed that he is not supposed to be involved in the creation of new Dragon Balls. Only Toriyama himself had the authority to do that, so it was only when he put the idea on the table that they could move forward with a new set. Obviously, since Toriyama has now passed, we will see how that continues. And we're back to the anime stuff. The final set of Dragon Balls introduced in the main continuity is the Demon Realm Dragon Balls, from the newest anime, Dragon Ball Daima. Obviously, it's still going at this point in time, so we have very little information on them. We know they were created by Neva, who seems to be the only Namekian left in the Demon Realm. This set only has 3 of them, and they look around the same size as the Namekian Dragon Balls. They're each protected by a Tamagami, warriors created by Neva to protect the Dragon Balls through a test of both strength and wits. So far, we've only seen the 3rd Tamagami in action by the time I'm writing this video. Something weird about them though is that they've also been called the original Dragon Balls, so this has been said about several different sets. Recent information from Dragon Ball Daima has revealed that the Demon Realm existed well before the outer universes, and that Namekians were slaves to the previous Demon Kings. It's totally likely that the Demon Kings forced Neva to create these as the original Dragon Balls, unless somehow the Super Dragon Balls already existed and these were their attempt at replicating them. We'll just really have to wait and see as Daima progresses. As far as we know, not a single wish has ever been made on them because the Tamagami are near impossible to defeat. Though in Dragon Ball Daima episode 11, Neva revealed that the Dragon Balls from the Demon Realm were originally intended as rewards, similarly to the Namekian Dragon Balls, but sadly they started to be misused by evil beings. Namekians used to be enslaved in the Demon Realm, and they all eventually escaped it, leaving Neva alone. He also mentions that Namekian must be used to summon the dragon. In one of the trailers, we do hear Neva recite a chant similar to the one used to summon Porunga on Namek, so we will more than likely need something similar to summon the dragon, whom I believe will be named Dorusie, based on the words he uses. But we're not done yet. There's a few more wish-granting orbs and dragons to discuss outside of the main continuity. First, let's move on to Dragon Ball GT. The first new set we're introduced to are the Black Star Dragon Balls, also known as the Ultimate Dragon Balls in Japanese. They were created long before the normal Earth Dragon Balls, by the nameless Namekian before he split between Piccolo and Kami, so they were inactive until they reunited in the Cell arc. They are significantly more powerful, with the Dragon Ball GT Perfect Files databook saying that they can revive people more than once. But this also means they're more dangerous. I'll explain how in a second. Aside from the obvious black stars, they're also a tiny bit larger than the normal ones, and instead of scattering across the world, they scatter across the galaxies. They use so much power that unless they are returned to the world where they were used at within a year, that planet just explodes. They also don't turn to stone once they're used. From them comes out Ultimate Shenron, a much larger and much redder version of Shenron. They were hidden away at Kami's lookout due to how dangerous they are, but the Pilaf gang somehow found out about them and accidentally wished for Goku to be turned into a kid. So Goku, Trunks, and Pan go on a hunt across the galaxy to find them. They eventually do return them back home, but sadly baby Vegeta had already corrupted most of Earth at that point, including Dende. So he used them to create a new planet plant in our solar system. Thus, the countdown to destruction never stopped. After Baby's defeat, the Z Fighters evacuated everyone from Earth to New Planet Plant. To ensure that they're never used again, Piccolo sacrificed himself in Earth's explosion, and the Black Star Dragon Balls disappeared forever. Earth is then restored with the Namekian Dragon Balls. I should also mention, just for fun, that in the alternate universe of the Ultimate Tenkaichi Hero mode, Omega Shenron uses them to make Earth into a living hell, and even pollutes Ultimate Shenron with his negative energy. You actually get to beat up Ultimate Shenron in that game, which is pretty funny. But speaking of Omega Shenron, GT introduced a new variation of the Earth's Dragon Balls. Well, at least many new dragons. In it, the overuse of the Earth Dragon Balls over the years caused a massive amount of negative energy to crack the Dragon Balls. According to the old Kai, the Dragon Balls are really only meant to be used every 100 years, so that they have time to cleanse themselves from that negative energy. So when Goku and the rest went to find them after the Super 17 arc, instead of summoning Shenron, they summoned a strange black smoke Shenron. According to Mr. Popo, this wasn't the first time something like this happened, as in a different planet, a different evil dragon appeared thanks to the negative energy and destroyed not only that world, but the cosmos around it. Dark Smoke Shenron disappeared while leaving behind 7 evil dragons, known as Shadow Dragons in the dub. Their Japanese name are just like Shenron, or the One-Star Dragon. In English, their names are completely reworked to form the word Shenron when you take each first letter: Sin, Haze, Ice, Nova, Rage, Oceanus, and Naturon. These dragons would spread all over the world and pollute the Earth, making for a great environmentalist metaphor. They each also coincide with a specific wish made through the series. Naturon Shenron was created from the wish to bring back those killed the day of the tournament where Majin Vegeta attacked. Oceanus from Oolong's wish for panties, Rage from the wish to revive Goku in the Saiyan arc, Nova from the wish made by King Piccolo for eternal youth, which is kind of interesting since it's the only wish made with evil intentions, yet he's the only righteous dragon. Ice Shenron was made from the wish to revive those killed by King Piccolo. Haze was made from the wish to revive Bora, and finally, Sin was created from the wish to revive those killed by Frieza. Speaking of Sin, the One-Star Dragon also absorbs all the other Dragon Balls to become Omega Shenron. In the end, Goku's Spirit Bomb defeated Omega Shenron and cleansed the world, though this also marked an end for the Dragon Balls on Earth, as Goku leaves with Shenron, with the final wish being to undo the damage done since Hell opened during the Super 17 arc. Now, let's move on to Dragon Ball Heroes. In the manga of the Dark Empire saga, we are introduced to the Dark Dragon Balls. These were created in the Heroes version of the Demon Realm by a kidnapped and mind-controlled Dende. Forced to do so by the demon Mekikabora, this set of Dragon Balls is quite unique, as they are blood red and have dark stars. Instead of scattering across planets, they travel through space and time, attaching themselves to evil beings and making them even stronger. These Dragon Balls melded themselves with Frieza, Cell, Kid Buu, Turles, Janemba, Lord Slug, and Xeno Broly. They summon Dark Shenron, who really does just look like an evil version of Shenron mixed with Porunga, with a lot more hair. Really powerful wishes take a long time for Dark Shenron to grant, as was the case with Mekikabora when he wished to be young again, since his power was so great that Dark Shenron needed some time to make the wish come true. He was also able to give Demigra the power to overcome Mekikabora. Another set of Shadow Dragons is also born from the Dark Dragon Balls. They look very similar to their original counterparts from GT, but
more evil.
The One-Star Dragon is even given a further power-up by Demigra. Heroes is very strange as is, and that continues to the next set of Dragon Balls. This is the special set from the Prison Planet arc. A bunch of different characters were kidnapped by Fu and placed in the prison planet. One ball was given to different prisoners by Fu, who wants them all to have a Dragon Ball free-for-all, to try and gather them to escape out of there. The anime of Heroes doesn't really touch on them at all, they might as well not even be there, but the manga and the game basically uses them as excuses for boss battles. As the heroes go around collecting them. They summon Shenron just like the ones on Earth, and in the end, Majin Ozoto is ultimately the one that ends with them. But his wish for an all-powerful body was stopped by clearly the most important character in all of Dragon Ball, Oolong, who wishes for everyone to be freed from the prison planet, and this set of Dragon Balls is never seen again. In the series, we also see a few sets of fake Dragon Balls, like the false Dragon Balls sold at a pawn shop during filler in the Red Ribbon arc, and another set on fake Namek during filler before the Namek arc. These were just illusions created from the memories of Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma by these stranded aliens Laichi and Zakuro. Then there's the live-action Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball Evolution. Yeah, I know, don't throw tomatoes at me, bear with me, we're almost done. They're similar to the normal ones, but the stars are bright yellow instead of red, and they move around in their smoky interior. They also seem to have some sort of link to the user, as Goku has visions of the future when he touches them. Unlike the anime, these Dragon Balls have to be used on a special pedestal in a stone tower. They're only used to revive Master Roshi, who was killed by King Piccolo. These Dragon Balls do summon Shenron, pronounced Shenlong here, like in the original Japanese, but instead of being a physical dragon, he seems more like a ghostly apparition, much smaller than the one in the manga, with not much color and much more Western looking. Honestly, all of that could be used to describe the movie itself. There's of course been other different minor sets. For example, there's a set in a Latino stage adaptation of Dragon Ball. This was officially made, and this Shenron has a link to Goku. He knows everything about the Saiyans and tells him that he's the son of Bardock. It's really weird. If you want to find out more, I have a video all about it. There's also something known as a Mashenlong. His name is Mr. Poco Poco, who looks like a fusion of Porunga and Mr. Popo. He was created by evil Namekians in Dragon Ball Online. He's bipedal, so he moves around as we would, and doesn't seem to have an actual set of Dragon Balls. He's in charge of harvesting ki, but information of weird characters like this is a lot harder to find. And that's pretty much everything. That was every set of Dragon Balls and every dragon to go along with it. Of course, Dragon Ball Daima is still ongoing, so I'm going to have to update this eventually. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to mafuba that subscribe button, and if you're looking for more fun Dragon Ball lore videos, be sure to check out my video on every Saiyan that survived the destruction of planet Vegeta.
Oh,